Alright, what's happening everybody? It's your boy Keenan. Welcome to today's vlog. I'm here to count down all of my top 20 receivers for the 2012 fantasy football year. Today, I'm going to be counting down numbers 20 to 11. I must say that I have a stellar group of receivers in hand for you for these next 2 days. I think next to the quarterbacks, the receivers will give you the bulk of your points for this year's fantasy football season. Usually, it's the quarterbacks, then the running backs, but this season there are a lot of injury-prone running backs. Plus, there are a lot of teams who have good tandem running backs who split the carries, which means the ball is going to be spread more across the field, and the less load is going to be carried towards the running backs. Also, there's a couple of contract disputes with some of my top 20 running backs, and I believe that's going to affect their play this upcoming year. And I think the points are going lower this season in fantasy football play for the running backs. So the next bulk of the points should go to the receivers. I have a good group for you guys. All of them are coming back healthy. I really like this upcoming year with the wide receivers this year. Now I'm going to start things off at number 20, Steve Johnson of the Buffalo Bills. Now for the past couple of seasons, he's had over 1,000 yards in receiving yards, just over 1,000. And now based on his numbers, he looks like a good, stellar third receiver for your team. But I really think this kid has the capability of making it inside the top 10 and have a breakthrough season of at least 1,300 yards. He is going to be that top primary target for Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Buffalo Bills. I really think he's going to have a good season coming up, especially coming off of a big signing contract that he had. At number 19, a little bit of a surprise for you guys, I'm going to go with Washington Redskins Pierre Garçon. He ended up transferring, leaving the Indianapolis Colts and signing up with the Washington Redskins. And this is an excellent addition with newcomer RG3, Robert Griffin III, at quarterback. He had a pretty good preseason game against the Buffalo Bills, 58 yards receiving and a touchdown. He showed a lot of athletic ability, and I think he's going to be that leading target for the Washington Redskins in that receiving core. At number 18, I'm going to go with Reggie Wayne of the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I think a lot of people raised some eyebrows on me saying that. I think Reggie Wayne is going to be due for a good season because without Pierre Garçon, who's now with the Redskins, everything's going to be more focused on Reggie Wayne. And also the Indianapolis Colts lost Dallas Clark, and they have a lot of young receivers coming into this season. It's particularly two big known tight ends coming out of college, Dwayne Allen out of Clemson and Colby Fleener, tight end out of Stanford. So he's going to be rekindling the relationship that he already has with Andrew Luck. But I really like Reggie Wayne. I think he's going to be a vocal leader for that offense, and he will teach Andrew Luck a thing or two. He will be that top target this season, and because without Pierre Garçon, that means all the more focus is going to be towards Reggie Wayne. I think he's due for another 1,000-yard season. At number 17, I'm going to go with Julius Jones of the Atlanta Falcons. Now, he's going to be that second target for Matt Ryan behind Roddy White, but I think he's going to be due for another 1,000-yard season. I think him and Roddy White is a great tandem together as the receivers for Matt Ryan. I really think Julio Jones can get at least 10 touchdowns receptions this season. He will be a good number 2 player for your teams who has the potential of having a breakthrough season. At number 16, I'm going to go with Jordy Nelson of the Green Bay Packers. Now, I know I shocked a lot of people by saying that Jordy Nelson was actually second overall in points for the receivers, according to ESPN and Fantasy Play. But the reason why I had to drop him at number 16, because last year was his breakthrough season. In my opinion, he just blossomed last year, and so I'm not really sure if he's going to be consistent. Plus, Greg Jennings is going to be back and fully healthy to help out that receiving core with Aaron Rodgers leading the way, the MVP quarterback. Now, Jordy Nelson is an excellent receiver, but the reason why he received so many points was because those last 2 weeks in Fantasy Play, he posted just under 300 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. But Greg Jennings was not in those games, so which means more of the ball was going to be thrown towards Jordy Nelson as a deep ball threat. And because of Greg Jennings coming back this season, I think those numbers are going to drop just a little, but he should be able to get at least 1,000-yard receiving because they have a great quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. At number 15, I'm going to actually go with Dwayne Bowe, the receiver of the Kansas City Chiefs. This guy is an excellent receiver. Kansas City had an off season last year, but he still had over 1,000 yards receiving. Hopefully, Matt Castle will rekindle the relationship he has with Bowe and get back to that 2010 form where he passed for 27 touchdowns. That's going to be key. I think he's going to bounce back this season, have even more yards and more touchdowns like he had a couple years ago when he had over 15 touchdown receptions. I think this guy is a great target for Matt Castle, and he is a Pro Bowl caliber receiver. We already know that. At number 14, I'm going to go with Vincent Jackson of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He ended up leaving the San Diego Chargers and signing up with the Bucs. He should be Josh Freeman's leading target. Hopefully, he will have a good season. My thing is, he just like Pierre Garçon, both of these two players just need to be a little bit more consistent in their play. But I believe that Vincent Jackson had better numbers than Pierre Garçon, a couple of big games last season, but he just needs to be a little bit more consistent week after week. He'll have a big game, and then he'll have a couple of bad games. Then he'll have a big game, and then a couple of bad games. He just needs to be just a little bit more consistent. He will be a great target, a good addition for any team in fantasy play. At number 13, I'm going to go with A.J. Green of the Cincinnati Bengals. He had over 1,000 yards receiving as a rookie last season, connecting with Andy Dalton on many occasions. And I think this is time for that potential to rise just a little bit more, get over more of an edge, and post up more yardage this upcoming year. And that's why I have to put him at number 13. He's a great receiver, and I think he's due for a better year than his rookie season, which he did an outstanding job. At number 12, I'm going to go with Brandon Marshall of the Chicago Bears. Now, he had a great year last season with Matt Moore as his quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. This season, he's going to be reconnecting back with former Denver teammate Jay Cutler. They're now getting back together as teammates, and this is going to be a good quarterback wide receiver tandem. And I think having a better quarterback, those numbers should definitely boost up and fantasy play. Also, a quick side note: he catches a lot of balls, and if you guys really, if your leagues consider giving points for each reception, that's going to be key this upcoming year. Brandon Marshall is one of these players that you should get. And for the running backs, going back to the running back video that I had, Darren Sproles will give you a lot of points per reception if your league gives up points per reception. Both these two players should give you a lot of points. And at number 11, I'm going to go with Percy Harvin of the Minnesota Vikings. He's an outstanding player, an all-purpose player, had 342 yards receiving to go along with 967 touchdowns and 967 yards receiving and 8 total touchdowns. He's a good big-time all-purpose threat, and he will be a big key for the next couple of weeks, unless Adrian Peterson fully recovers and gets back on track as that leading rusher for this team. But the vocal point is going to be going towards Percy Harvin for the first couple of weeks of fantasy play of the NFL season. Now, he barely just missed the top 10. I think a lot of people are probably going to argue with me that Percy Harvin deserves to be in that top 10, but he's disappointed in the team that he's in. He is not happy, and I think that's going to affect his performance this season. I still think he's going to play big, but not big enough to be in the top 10 this upcoming year. So that's why I had to bump him at number 11. But he is still a great receiver that you should get either in the third, probably even in the second round, third or fourth round for your fantasy play, and then he will be an outstanding addition. Now, next time to catch you guys is tomorrow for part 2 of my top receivers, giving you my top 10 players. Thank you for watching today's vlog from Franchise Sports Talk. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.